Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another misconceptions video for you guys. I came up with just a few more that I wanted to make sure that we talked about. I love making these videos because hopefully you guys feel like you're getting a little bit more education on a wheelchair user's life. And just want to point out, I am only speaking on behalf of my injury. That's really all that I know most about. I am a T10 spinal cord injury. I'm considered paralyzed from the belly button down. So really I'm just basing these misconceptions off of my personal life and even kind of like the girls' lives of rolettes that I know particularly. So let's get started. All right, so I wrote down a few misconceptions, and misconception number one is wheelchair users cannot walk the dog. Okay, listen dogs, so I'm disabled, so that means that you probably will never be able to go on a walk, okay? Okay, capiche? All right, that's it. I actually had someone ask me like, oh, so you just have like Jay walk the dog, and I'm like, well, no, I can walk the dog too. It's not something that I like to do, but I can walk the dog as someone in a wheelchair. So what I've learned is being able to loop the dog leash around my hand and push as if it's still in my hand like this. That makes it really easy. Also too, tying it around the front frame area makes it really easy as well. So then like Stella will just pull me. I have been a little nervous about that because when she starts to run, being able to actually slow her down can be hard. I have an English bulldog, if you don't know. She's super cute, but this is how I would walk the dog normally. Okay, come on, let's go. Come on, please don't go behind me. Come on, let's go. Good girl, come on, let's go. Come on. All right, isn't Stella so cute? So I also have a little one. Her name is Bailey. She is, as of right now, about 3.5 months old, but we can't walk her yet because she doesn't have all of her vaccines. So let's go to the next one. So the next one that I like to point out is that wheelchair users can't get anything off top shelves. So I actually have a grabber that I use to reach my shoes, and then also the grabber that I use, I can reach cups that are up high. Granted, it's a little bit scarier if you have a glass mug. Reaching that, you can like really hurt yourself or it can break and shatter. But I use my grabber a lot for my shoes that are up really high. In a perfect world, I would love literally everything at eye level, but I do have to put things up higher if I'm not using them all the time, just to kind of save space. So this is how I reach things off of the top shelves. This next one is literally hilarious to me because I have so many people that will be like, oh, my cousin's in a wheelchair. Do you know her? Her name is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know who she is.
Oh, I'm glad I saw you. I had a question. It's my cousin Amy. She's in a wheelchair. She's out in Wisconsin. You know her?
Sorry, I don't. Sorry.
Oh, it's weird. I thought you would.
No, thanks.
Okay.
So a common misconception for wheelchair users is we all know each other. Okay, granted, the community is very small, very small. So yes, I do know a lot of people in wheelchairs, and yes, a lot of people know each other because of the wheelchair community. So the wheelchair community is a very tight-knit community, but not everyone knows everyone. So I just want to put out there that not every wheelchair user knows each other. We do get to meet people that we don't know and, you know, have that interaction. So just want to point that out. We don't all know each other. We're not always like all texting in a group text message. So that's more for like your common able-bodied that really has no idea about the wheelchair community or the disability community in general. So that brings me to my next misconception. Now I have a little backstory on this topic. People don't like the word disabled.
So I was thinking because you're disabled and what? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. differently abled. You're differently abled.
Now, when I first started Rolettes, it was kind of funny because a lot of people would be like, you can't call me disabled. I'm differently abled, which is like whatever floats your boat, right? Whatever floats your boat. I know people on YouTube are probably going to come for me when I say this, but I have never mind being called disabled. I always felt like when I was first injured, I felt like I had to say, yeah, you can't call us disabled because we're differently abled. But in general, like in my core, I never really cared. I was like, I don't really care what you call it, as long as it's not saying like, oh, you're disabled. Like, as long as it's not in a derogatory way, then it's fine. If you're saying like, oh, well, she can't do that because she's disabled, that's kind of like in a derogatory way. It is kind of hurtful for myself or the people that I know to make the word in more of a negative way. But you don't have to say like a differently abled dance team, which is what we used to call ourselves because of what everyone else felt. So always trying to please other people and please their norm is what I used to do for Rolettes. And now I'm like, we're a wheelchair dance team for women with disabilities. Like, it is what it is. We are disabled. Like, we're disabled. It's not the big of a deal. It's not like a bad thing.
So I was thinking because you're disabled. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Differently abled.
No, you're fine. You can say disabled. It's not a bad word.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Disabled.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was thinking because you're disabled and
So a common misconception is that every wheelchair user doesn't want to be called disabled. I don't care. I think it's just personal preference. I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are on that topic in the comments below because I love hearing what other people feel about being called disabled or differently abled. This next one is actually something that I think I've talked about in my other misconceptions. So if you haven't seen them, then you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. This next one is that wheelchair users cannot have a relationship or that they just have to date people in wheelchairs. Now, I think this is more personal preference. A lot of people, when I was first injured, people would be like, oh, my cousin is in a wheelchair. Like, I'd love to hook you up with him. Like, you could meet him or, you know, that we have to all hang out because we're in wheelchairs. So this misconception is that people in wheelchairs aren't, I guess, like sexual beings. They don't want to date. They're not into that kind of thing because either we're paralyzed or we can't date because those parts don't work. I don't know. So for me, I would like to put out there that people in wheelchairs don't have to date people in wheelchairs. We can also date able bodies, which are people that are not wheelchair users. So I think it's just really personal preference. You know, a lot of people will be like, oh, I'd rather date a guy in a chair because they'll really understand our struggles. Other people will be like, I'd rather date a guy that's able-bodied because I'm not attracted to people with disabilities. So it's really just personal preference. And also, love is love. You can fall in love with someone who's in a wheelchair and you can fall in love with someone that's an able body. So that is just a personal preference. So for those of you that think that wheelchair users have to date people in chairs, that's actually a misconception and it's not true. We don't have to. Last misconception I have for you guys is wheelchair users cannot do the dishes or, I mean, in general, clean up after themselves, take care of a tidy home, that sort of thing.
Hey, Chelsea, did you want to clean up your mess?
I can't. I'm disabled. So I want to show you guys some ways that I actually do things around the house to keep the house going, such as dishes, mopping the floor, vacuum, making my bed. So I want to show you guys some things and some ways that I actually help keep a tidy house along with my fiance. So that is all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this misconceptions video. I hope you felt a little enlightened and a little educated on just a few topics that I just came up with, and I was like, I want to get this out to you guys. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. And remember, this is just me basing everything off of my personal disability, but if you guys have any points that you would like to share or any misconceptions that you want to share, please leave them down in the comments below. I'd love to read them. Also, I have 2 other misconceptions videos on other subjects that I haven't touched on in this video. So thank you guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button, get the like button as well. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.